Ilse, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Really pleased to be here. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Thank you. Really good. Really happy to be able to have you here and be part of this for us.
It's going to be cool.
All the way from wonderful WA, all the way in Perth. Is it sunny still? It's cold.
Right. I wish I could say it's sunny today, but it's not. So
right.
we're in the same. We're on the same weather pattern.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, you have been a follower of the Coaching Institute for nearly as long as anyone. I think you've been part of the school for 12 years, is it?
Yeah, something like that. It's been a long time. Well over 10 years, yeah.
Yeah, and you've grown your own coaching business. You are a leadership coach now. I know you're doing your own research and leadership right now, which is so exciting to be able to contribute to the body of knowledge in the world. First of all, when it comes to your own personal leadership, was there like a time in your life where you decided, I'm a leader, or I need to learn about personal leadership? Or did you find that you always thought in a way that was like, I'm aware that the way I am right now is of benefit to other people? Like, did you always think through that leadership frame, or was it something that was a circumstantial thing?
Yeah, that's a good question. No, I don't think I always saw myself as a leader. Not at all. Yeah. And even when people would say to me, well, you're a leader, or, you know, you're showing leadership, or they would name it, they'd give it a name. I'd be like, I would almost reject it. And for whatever reason, but no, I never really saw myself as a leader. What I did know that I'd always done was take care of things and provide guidance for people and find solutions to problems, and people would ask me for those solutions to problems. So I acknowledged the strategies or the techniques I was doing, but I never really thought of it as leadership until.
Yeah. So when you came to TCI and you started learning about the critical alignment model, I think that when you probably learnt it so long ago that it probably had a different name. I think it was probably, yeah. I know Sharon said that she used to teach it. This is before my time. She used to teach it a long time ago.
Yeah.
So when you started seeing things through those dimensions and started learning about how we could see leadership, how did that benefit you as a leader?
Because it benefited me because it showed me that there was different dimensions to leadership. And this was really interesting for me. I realized that there was no one way that I should have led or should lead, that there's different ways.
Right.
And that was really helpful to me, and it eased a lot of what I really believe was, now that like looking retrospectively, it was probably a bit of anxiety. Oh, I need to, okay, in this situation I was vision casting, or in the next situation I was actually having to roll my sleeves up and do stuff. And in other situations I'd be, you know, needing to have a talk to my teams, or, you know, mentor them through stuff. And I was noticing I was doing all these things and thinking, okay, well, this is what I need to do it, or that's what I need to go. And I realized that with models such as the critical alignment model, it's not either or. It's doing what's necessary at that time for the long-term game and building on all of those skills. So it really gave me a sense of clarity, and it eased my mind a lot around, well, it doesn't have to be this or that. It's actually all of these elements at the same time.
It's a really great insight. And I think if we add into that the fact that there's so many different personality types, right? So we can look through the metadynamics profile. We can look at it through so many different profiles where we essentially say, well, you think differently and I think differently, and there's different styles.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be different leadership styles within that. And I think it's probably quite a common mistake for people to make, to maybe butt heads when it comes to communication or leadership style, because they're doing it just that one way. One of the things that's quite powerful that I find about disruptive leadership and the critical alignment model is the ability to be able to use it as a diagnostic tool. You're someone who's been in leadership for I don't know. So we're just going to say 12 years, or let's say forever.
Forever.
Forever. Before there was like you were like black and white TV leadership style. Yellow pages.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah. There's a stone in the...
Yeah. What was that, Moses? Okay. So how important is it to be able to use a diagnostic in business to be able to say, well, what action should we actually take? Is it a time to get clear on the values? Is this a structural problem? Is this an implementation problem? Do we have the right person in the job? Like, speaking from your business and your experience, how important is it to be able to diagnose?
It's critically important to be able to diagnose, because without critically diagnosing it, you're just coming up with your own personal opinion about what should or shouldn't be done. And that's just no use to anyone. It's like coaching. We don't coach from a place of our own personal experience or our personal opinion. There's got to be some kind of framework to it. So, you know, going in and working with leaders, having a diagnostic, having something to profile, it gives us these different lenses from which to assess what is going on. And so through those lenses, the 4 dimensions of the critical alignment model, we're getting perspective, and we're seeing what it is. What is this? What is the dot through the lenses of E or S or I or P? And it can help us identify things such as, you know, using SWOT analysis techniques. You can look at the SWOT analysis through the critical alignment model. So it provides a real beautiful depth and a richness to helping a client or helping an organization through the models such as the critical alignment model, disruptive leadership strategies, and so forth.
And what do you actually do in your business right now? Tell us, like, what's your major focus when it comes to developing leaders and helping people grow, and what do you actually deliver right now?
So we look at things such as, well, what is the leadership development plan that they have? So my specific focus is always on how are we helping the leaders come through the ranks, and how are we helping them develop? And critical alignment model is great for that. That's one of the tools that we use. It's a critical tool that we use. And so stepping them through, particularly the leaders who are responsible for moving their teams through the leadership development model, they will hold up progress depending on what their mindset is, depending on where their blockages are in ESIP, or where their blockages are in disc profile, or where their blockages are in insert here any model that students have access to through TCI. So it's looking at, well, how do we create these beautiful processes and help them establish that, but also where are the blockages and what tools can we use to help them unblock it so that they can develop their leaders really well.
That's awesome. One of the things that we really love doing here at TCI is, and I'm sure you do the same thing, well, I know you do the same thing, it's bringing in everything that you know about coaching and everything you know about thinking, and then you combine that into leadership. And I think a lot of people maybe still come from the old paradigm that it's like, you can't have emotions in business. Yeah, there's no space for feelings. Business is business. You have to get shit done, you know, hard to the wire, push and things like that. What's your experience when it comes to adding in the coaching elements into business and helping people grow as people, and having that as one of the foundations of having them become great leaders? What's your take on that and the importance of that?
Well, there's a few things in that. Well, because I think one is that people are realizing that that business is not just a robotic experience that they're having. You know, I think they call it the rational actor model, and that's what's taught a lot in business schools. Is they're teaching a lot of executives and emerging leaders what's called the rational actor, which says that it's just checks and balances. It's just moving quantifiable processes and numbers around. But when it comes time to making decisions that conflicts them, why do we have conflict? Why is the barriers coming up? It's usually because of mindset. The mindset stands in the way, and mindset being different to how we actually cognitively processing things. And so tapping into people's, well, what is our mindset? What is our emotional state? why are we experiencing the conflict? Why are we experiencing communication problems? It's because they're starting to connect more deeply with the fact that they are a human being that is running the business. The business isn't made up by the processes and the techniques. It's made up by the people that's in there.
Yeah, completely. And I think the more that one of the things that we've been talking about is the importance of having a brightness of future for people. I think the more that we utilize these models and these frameworks to help people have a brightness of future for themselves, the more that they feel fulfilled. And the more that they will love it. If you've got someone who's fulfilled, they love it, they're a star, they've got the skill, they're a match for the job, then you've got someone who can be an amazing leader.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You're spot on. Yeah,
awesome. Now, when it comes to the training that you've done here, I know you've pretty much done everything that we have to offer. You're a very, very highly trained person. You're also one of our mentors. You're also one of our trainers here. You're a facilitator. What would you say to people that have an opportunity to come in and actually do some work with Sharon?
Oh, wow. You're in for a wonderful experience, really in for a wonderful experience on so many different levels. I think people who really want to grow and people who want to know how they can make a difference in the industry as a coach, as a consultant, and for themselves as well. You're going to learn from Sharon the processes and how to develop a really strong mindset. So it's not going to be one or the other. So don't think that you're going to get one or the other. You're going to get a complete full experience. It's going to be beautiful.
Awesome. And what would you say to someone who is considering becoming a leadership coach? I think a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but every now and then I'll hear someone say, the industry has so many coaches, or there's too many people doing this. It's a flooded market or something like that. From my point of view, I only see a small amount of people doing this right, a small amount of people doing it well. And so as a result of that, if you've got access to great education, I think you stand out a lot. What would be your advice? You're someone who's in the industry, you've got a successful business as a leadership coach, you're a great leader yourself. What would you say to someone who's thinking, you know what, maybe this could be my thing. Maybe leadership coaching is the path I want to go on. I want to develop myself as a leader. I want to develop others.
I'd say, please come and join us. We need more. We need more good ones.
Yeah, well,
out there in the field. We just do. There's too many people who aren't highly trained out there coaching or consulting or training executives or emerging leaders, and they're not trained enough. I go in and I have to clean up a lot of the mess that untrained people have done. So if you're thinking about it, if you're considering it, if you're massaging the idea, just go for it, because we really do need more highly trained people out there in the industry.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ilse. Thanks for being a part of this.
Thanks for having me. It's appreciated. Thank you.
You're welcome.